Hello, this is Monica from Unique Designs by Monica, and today we are creating rattles on Silhouette Studio. I want to say Cricut Design Space. I used to do that so long time ago. I guess the habit never dies. No, this is on Silhouette Studio, the basic that you can get and how you can create your own basic shapes using Silhouette. So let's get started. We have two baby rattles right here. Let me just group these up and I'm going to set these guys right over here. Our primary shapes that we're going to be using is a circle and a rectangle. So let me just get my circle, or as in right here in the studio it says ellipse. It's an ellipse, but to be honest, it's a circle. Okay, you can make this as big or as small as you want. It doesn't really matter. However, once you actually decide on the size of your circle, duplicate it because it's going to come in handy later. So just to make sure we can see what we are looking at, let's make them brown. All right, next we're going to get our rectangle tool and just go straight down. Now you can make this as thick or as thin as you want. And let me just get the right color. And in order to make sure that this is right in the center, I'm going to highlight both of these and I'm going to use my align center. There you go. So it's going to be right in the middle and I'm going to weld. Now I'm going to take this very same circle, duplicate it, and I'm just going to make it a slightly bit smaller for the bottom, right here. Again, I'm going to align both of these. There we go. But before I even weld these together, I need to get the little circle in the middle. So I'm going to go over here to my offset panel, and I'm going to do the inside of it. That's a little too big. So you could either change it over here, go 0, let's say 0.2. Oh, that's okay. Let's go a little bigger. 5. Yeah, that's better. And then I'm going to grab both of these and make it into a compound path. So I'm going to take it down just a bit, highlight everything, and then weld. Ta-da! Now we got part of the rattle already. Now you can make this any color that you want. I'm choosing brown because it's the most easiest to see and it goes so well with pink. Brown and pink always look really nice. Okay, now let's get the little bow or butterfly that we got going over here. So we're going to go back to the circle tool or the ellipse tool. And we're just going to elongate it. Let's just change the color here. I'm going to go over here to the fill panel. And I'm going to choose a light pink this time around. And I'm just going to get this little, what do you call this, swivel? This little green dot over here, and I'm just going to pivot it just a little bit. And once I do that, I'm going to duplicate this by going to the replicate panel. And now the reason why I did this is because it's going to be the same height and width. It's not going to make it go sideways. And then I'm going to just change the direction. And what I mean by that, here, if I cut and paste, you see how it went downward rather than sideways? It's always good to use this tool if you want to duplicate something and to keep it on the same level as your original shape. So let's just have this tool touch each other like a heart. Very weird, funky looking heart, but it's okay. We're going to select both of these and we're going to weld. Oh, no. Weld. I use offset. Okay, now we're going to do that again, and this time around we're going to go down and then flip this vertically. All right. Okay, by doing so I'm able to weld that even easier. Now if you don't like the direction this is facing, you see how it's like a diamond shape and you want it to be more of a square shape? What you can do is grab a box, grab both of these, make it into a compound path, and then release it again. This way, it is facing the right direction. So let me get you see how it's now a square? very elongated square. By doing so, you can make sure you know which way it's going. If it's in a diamond shape like this, even going like this, you're not going to get the, you see how, yeah, it's going to be quite difficult. So now that I know where I want this, I'm going to change, I'm going to take out the line and make it invisible because I really don't like seeing my lines. That's just me. You can leave it however you want. You can change it whatever color. I personally don't like seeing my lines. And I'm going to make this just a tad bit smaller. Nope, maybe not. Maybe not. A little more. There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave this guy to the side. And then now we're going to go into the inside portion of this. As you can see, there's definitely some shapes. We have a heart shape and we have a star shape. But as you can see right here under our shape tool, we don't have those two. We don't have a heart and we definitely don't have a star. So we're going to have to create that for us ourselves. So in the very same way we did our bow, we're going to do our heart. Now instead of being like elongated, I'm just going to keep this into a chubby heart. So that's a line, sorry, right there. And then I'm going to tilt it and then flip it. Look at that. Just gonna have these two get really super close and weld. Now, if you want to have a little bit more of a point here at the bottom here, let's get a little closer. You see how rounded this is? You can double click your shape and you can see there's points right here. And right now you have two double points right here. We are going to simplify that. Now you only have one. And you can see that this has two points. So once you actually start going like that, you can actually tilt it either way to make it elongated. But I just want it just a little bit, not a whole lot. There we go. There is my heart. I have to get my little arrow tool and I'm going to elongate this. You see how it's also diamond shape? I'm not gonna mess with it this time around. But you can see if I wanted to make it, just trying to figure out which direction it's going. All right. Let's duplicate this a couple times and it's gonna go right to our right. 1, 2. All right, and I want to make sure that these guys are actually touching. You may not know this, if they look like they're touching, but they're really not. If you get really super close, they're really not touching. Okay, so let's just have them touch. And this saves you the time from weeding and making the mistake of ripping them accidentally because they're so thin. So if they're all welded, you don't have to worry as much. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little smaller. All right, just like that. And we're just going to go down. Down, down. Now, I want this to be close, but not too close. Okay, that's good. But we're not using this. We're using this guy right here. Let's see. Let me group all of these together. So I like the way that they're aligned. I don't want anything to happen to that. So I'm just going to group these together and I'm going to find my center. Okay. Now I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to go over here to my modify panel and I'm going to choose divide. Now you may not see it. Let me use the line tool here so you can see the lines, all the lines. These are now able to be removed. And these inner ones are what I want. So I'm going to group these together and I can delete the rest. I'm going to bring this guy back over. You know, this red is a little too harsh. I'm going to soften up a little under the line tool. There you go. That looks a little better. Much more soft. I'm going to bring this to the front. And I'm going to take off all the lines. I'm sorry. I'm just not a big fan of seeing my lines. If you like seeing your lines, just leave them alone. You can turn them into black so you can see where everything is. But it looks really kind of harsh for me. So I'm going to keep them nice and soft. All right. This is now done. Now that I have what I need, I'm going to copy. Oh, copy this over. And I'm going to put this to the line right there. Oop. Now these two right here, I don't need to do anything to them. At most, I can change the color. So I'm just going to fill in the color again under my line tool. This is one of the things that I had when I first started Silhouette, is the fact that once you go to click select, it automatically defaults to the line style rather than the panel, the fill-in style. So I have to constantly go back and forth. And that's the only thing that I have about Silhouette, but it's such a minute thing. So I'm going to use my dauber tool and make it lighter. All right, we no longer need this one because we want this to be for a little boy. So let's duplicate the rattle. And all I'm going to do is going to get my knife, put it up against the circle right here, and that's it. I made a cut. Alrighty. Now this is what's going to go on top. Now you're thinking to yourself, where did you get the star from? Well, very much like I did on Cricut, I had to use an ellipse tool. But unlike Cricut, I did not need to cut into it. In fact, Silhouette gives me the ability to manipulate the points. So let's get a little closer to this guy right here. And let's change the color to dark blue. Now, let's put it, you see how there's a 5 here? That represents the shape. So 5-sided shape, 7, 8, even a square to a triangle. So we're going to keep it to this particular shape right here. And we're going to convert the path. That way it no longer moves. And I can now manipulate the points. So let's go over to Balut. As you can see, it's not technically on the line, so I'm just going to make it as close to the line as possible. All right. I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to make a point. I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to make a point. Now, you can spend quite a long time trying to make your star as perfect as you want, or as abnormal as you want. For me, I'm just going to try to make this as star shape as possible. I can spend hours trying to make this as good as I wanted to. All right, there's my star. And I'm going to keep it blue. And I really want these not to go anywhere. Like once I cut it, I want them to be connected. So it'd be a lot easier for me to peel it off. Or if I have like sticker paper, I can stick it on. All right. So what I'm going to do is go to the replicate tool and then do it like 3 times. Now again, they're not touching. So what I need to do, ooh, I got a little weird little line there. All right. Let's see. That's a little too big. So I'm going to make these smaller, and all I'm going to do is highlight and then move inward 1. Inward 1. And then I'm going to copy, paste. And let's see. I want it to go like that. Let's see. Okay. You're probably thinking, what are you doing? Well, I'm trying to make sure this covers it to somewhat like what I see here. And you know what? I'm going to make this just a tiny bit bigger. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm just going to weld. And as you can see, it's now one unit. And even if I ungroup, which it doesn't give you the ability to, you know, they're all stuck together. So now that I have this the way I want, I'm going to select all of this and go over to my modify panel and divide. So all I need to worry about is getting rid of the pieces that are on the outside. Because everything is connected into the middle, I could just take it down. And now that I got that the way I wanted to, I'm just going to erase all my lines and then move it over. Okay, let's make the bow go to the front. And there we go. You got yourself 4 SVGs. Some are slightly different. You know, it's not the same heart, it's not the same star. And to be honest, you can keep on adding to this if you wanted to. But this is the most basic way to make a baby rattle. And now that you know the technique on how to, you know, cut through something, you can apply it to other projects. Thank you so much for stopping on by. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.